guys.
Yeah, these guys are speed running the finals right now. Although they may have run into an obstacle with these teams. No, say it ain't so. Bennett bans out 𝗵𝗵. We're not going to see that 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗺 lead this time.
And that is right, 𝗵𝗵 does catch the ban. I did want to see some more 𝗵𝗵. Let me go ahead and turn on the predictions for this final game, guys. So use those channel points if you guys want. But let's see. Bennett, or no, Golld trying to decide what to ban. I mean, that 𝗂𝗀𝗵𝗆 looks quite good, but it looks like 𝗬𝗎 will get the ban. I mean, effective to the move flank and the 𝗧𝗲𝗺. And just, of course, is the best support in the game. You know, did get nerfed, has to stay in if you don't have a grease. But it looks like the new meta is a grease 𝗬𝗎, no longer the baton pass 𝗬𝗎. So not too bad. It ended up being like a really slight nerf, right? It wasn't really that significant. What do you think, Rawrzyyy? Was it kind of big? Not too crazy, right?
It definitely is a nerf to those who were using baton pass, but for a lot of players who still were using grease or using a different gear altogether, it's not as big of one. It does kind of force you to use grease unless you want it to be a special attacking 𝗬𝗎, which is not super typical, but it definitely has existed before. I don't know, on Golld's side right now, he does get the 𝗬𝗎 through. The 𝗬𝗎 𝗧𝗲𝗺 lead, that was the fan favorite for so long. And in this particular instance, staring down 𝗃𝗏𝗺 and 𝗃𝗀𝗄𝗎, I mean, of course, 𝗬𝗎 doesn't want to stay, but there are some pretty good swap-ins in the back here. I think, realistically, hedging probably doesn't take... Or no, I'm sorry, it's electric on 𝗃𝗀𝗎, so it would take some damage to that. Maybe there aren't the best swap-ins for Golld for this turn one. Maybe Bennett does have a really good lead for us.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, one of the classic openers for Golld, 𝗬𝗎, 𝗧𝗲𝗺, such an impactful duo in the previous meta, and looking to not really go anywhere. But well done, Bennett, having that counter pick for that 𝗃𝗏𝗺's mental pressure on the 𝗧𝗲𝗺. But it won't be doing as much as we're used to seeing with that 𝗬𝗎 there. But, you know, Ghostly's like a little 𝗧𝗲𝗺 as well, so both guys looking strong. Is it going to be turn one show off for both of these guys? What do you think, Rawrzyyy? These guys going to do the gentleman show off to start us off?
I definitely think that they could and probably should. For Golld's side, we have not seen a clinch yet in the playoffs, which means show off might be the only option for Golld. As far as Bennett's concerned, there's not too much damage that he can take immediately. A beta burst wouldn't be the best thing in the world because of that melee half typing. Although, I don't know. I think that 𝗃𝗀𝗺 would be okay with that and would do a lot more damage the following turn, especially with 𝗃𝗏𝗺 next to it.
Well, it looks like trying to read that mental damage onto the 𝗧𝗲𝗺. Gets eaten up by the Crystal Temtem in the Schwinn, so not too shabby. However, it is trapped in, and if Ghostly goes for a show off right here, 𝗂𝗄𝗄𝗆 might be going crazy on the Schwinn. But man, you know that beta burst is doing quite more than I would have expected, especially for a Ghostly. So almost 40% damage from a single beta burst. You know, if Ghostly's not fast enough, Schwinn plus the 𝗬𝗎 attack will take Ghostly down. Ghostly's kind of speedy though. I don't know if his base speed higher than the Schwinn.
I think Schwinn is surprisingly speedy often. We don't see it, well, for a little while we didn't see it very often, so we didn't know necessarily how it compared to the rest. And Ghostly being so new, it is hard to compare to a lot of these older Tems that we're used to seeing, and you know exactly where he might fit in this scale. I think based on what we just saw, 𝗬𝗎 going first and probably Schwinn going second with some kind of water technique would be enough. But no, Golld decides to retreat this 𝗬𝗎 for 𝗂𝗍𝗄𝗆. Potentially a strange option, as you know, that could have been electric and toxic damage coming down on that spot. The toxic damage from 𝗃𝗏𝗺 is definitely still a possibility. Crystal Bite from the Schwinn does nothing to 𝗃𝗏𝗆, and Toxic Ink onto this 𝗂𝗍𝗄𝗆. Thanks to Guardian, it's not going to get those toxic ticks, but a tank still does so much damage.
Yeah, and that was almost 100% beautiful read for Bennett, reading the Crystal Bite, going on to Ghostly, bringing out the 𝗃𝗏𝗆 that's resistant, and then reading, oh no, I guess 𝗬𝗎 would have taken the Toxic Ink as well. So yeah, just toxicing on that spot. So Gold may be expecting potential double up on the 𝗬𝗏, or just getting ready to dish out some damage on this 𝗶𝗶 now. But wait a second, this Core isn't looking too safe whatsoever. Either Tem not looking too safe. Plague alone scaring away a lot, but Lava Wave bringing it down to 43. Does 𝗬𝗏 have anything to punish it further? I don't think enough for 43. Yeah, only about that, the little 10%.
Yeah, I mean, 𝗂𝗶𝗆 is a nice bit of tech, but it's not really enough to make a difference in some of these instances. And the DV is bringing 𝗬𝗍 down. So all of that potential synergy Master 𝗬𝗀 in the future with this Yowler and Mouflink is taken away from Gold, ripped from his team so early on. I mean, this is only turn 4 beginning, and that's already a very dead 𝗬𝗍 and a very injured 𝗂𝗍.
Yeah, already starting off very strong here in turn 4. Bennett getting one early kill there. You know, 𝗂𝗍 did go down a little bit, but able to get off at least the final plague before going down to the Mouflink, or unless the Goring is indeed faster. But of course, Mouflink staying in. 𝗧𝗵𝗵 still has some stamina to work with a simple beta burst or 𝗵𝗵𝗶. Throwing that direction doesn't feel too bad, so I wonder if Gold's thinking about potentially swapping and baiting the Goring onto 𝗂𝗍 here.
Well, I wonder if for Bennett, just doubling in on this 𝗬𝗏 spot is enough anyway, as you know, 𝗧𝗵𝗵 using a Toxic Ink, we know that it's not an immunity 𝗬𝗏, as we just saw the Guardian procs previously. So a Plague plus the Toxic Ticks might be enough to bring 𝗬𝗏 down, or do quite a lot of damage to a Yowler in the back. But no, Bennett decides to retreat for this 2-line, expecting Crystal Bite to be just a little bit too much, and actually the double swap as he brings in his Yowler as well. So 2 very bulky Tems to take some of these decently strong physical attacks. The Crystal Bite only about 25%, and the Yowler down to 71 after the base jump, potentially more than Bennett was expecting this early on.
Yeah, not too bad. So well done, 𝗧𝗵𝗵. Could have done some good damage. I believe even Inner Spirit was online for the 𝗬𝗏, but just wants to save it down the road. Of course, Yowler's still in the back line. 𝗧𝗵𝗵 being that #1 answer for the Yowler, so keeping it nice and healthy, not getting the Crystal Bite to the face. So well done. And now, not the most amount of double damage on the board. Everything's kind of just connecting neutrally here. And all of these Tems have reasonably stamina, a lot of HP to work with. So let's see what goes down. This is Ice Red's first time bringing Yowler on his board, so he doesn't have any show off or any buffs just yet. But all his moves are online, so Savage, Suplex, 𝗂𝗍𝗍 potentially on the 𝗬𝗏. I dare say, you mentioned it earlier, immunity is not there. It's a guaranteed Guardian 𝗬𝗏. So something like a 𝗂𝗍𝗍 Noxious Bomb will indeed take that 𝗬𝗏 down. But the fact that it has kind of low stamina maybe signifies to Bennett that it might be swapping out. Potentially something like that Kinu. I mean, it would still eat the Noxious Bomb. Let's see what the 𝗬𝗏 wants to do. It does retreat. Who is coming in? Oh, it's the big bad bear coming in with the Yowler.
Yeah, Yowler indeed. The Crystal Plume Gatling onto this Yowler is not going to do too much thanks to that plus defense, special defense from earlier. The Oshidashi as well brings Yowler down to 62%. That was pretty good damage from Gold, sneaking in, doing that nice big hit onto Polaris, Bennett's Yowler, and not getting punished with comebacker because of it. That almost feels like a little bit of stolen valor for Gold.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, the Yowler was the perfect Temtem to eat up all that damage on Gold side. It has +1 defense, so that double up barely doing too much on the Yowler, so not too bad. And yeah, Mouflink just doing some free damage, as you said, on Ice Bennett. And I keep calling it Ice Bennett, but Ice Red, aka Bennett's side. So same idea. Everyone's just neutrally connecting here. I believe Gold's Mouflink does have going back online. Yowler now has 𝗂𝗍𝗍 to really punish the 2-Vine. Can Bennett, I mean, Gold has the speed arrow, so his Yowler most likely going first. Let's see. Oh, gonna be punishing this Yowler here. Let's see if he gets the kill, or did he want to keep things straightforward on the 2-Vine?
Oh yeah, the speed just slightly in favor of Bennett here in the 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗴 match. Savage suplex with comebacker was not enough to kill Mooflank. It's got 1 HP remaining, and 𝗧𝗷 on Gold's side is definitely enough to bring down Polaris. It didn't have very much HP left over, and now Gold is in a pretty commanding position. It's still, this 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗺 is going to be a little bit difficult, especially if it comes out onto the field this turn. As you know, of course, Bennett could just ignore this Mooflank for a little bit, just target down 𝗧𝗷. Although I'm not sure, this 𝗬𝗏ine is definitely not wanting to stay in with such low stamina, and an 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗚 potentially coming its way. So 𝗂𝘀𝗵𝗃 coming in instead does leave 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗺s as a free swap in for this 𝗬𝗏ine. It would definitely take the damage from 𝗧𝗷 better than 𝗂𝘀𝗵𝗃 would have.
Yeah, I believe that's the idea, because of course the 𝗧𝗵𝗺s seem like super straightforward. 2 neutral Temtems facing it off, but I think you're exactly right. Maybe just trying to bait the 𝗧𝗲𝗃𝗃 or all the damage onto 𝗬𝗏ine. Swapping the 𝗧𝗵𝗺s is not too bad. And I do believe 𝗂𝘀𝗵𝗃 has a 3 prio technique to potentially just bring that Mooflank down. I do have to take a look, so let me see. I believe I saw it earlier. And never mind, it is a DC beam, but I don't think we'll be getting a DC beam here. So yeah, no 3 prio. Maybe just looking to do a little damage enough with that charge iron filings to hurt the 𝗧𝗷 and the Mooflank at the same time. Oh, Gold.
I was just scrolling through. It looks like 𝗂𝘀𝗵𝗃, if you wanted to go a special route, does learn Madness buff, so that DC beam could be a future move.
Yeah, that could be some tech there, but as we said, 𝗬𝗏ine swapping into the 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗺s, and both of the neutral Temtems knew what was going on, so Gold thinking 1 turn ahead, swapping over to his Crystal Temtem and going to be buffing it up. However, 𝗂𝘀𝗵𝗃 does indeed have 𝗧𝗲𝗃𝗃 online, but yeah, I was just going to go for the AoE technique, charge iron filings, just to do some bit damage. And hey, now they're nullified, so things like Savage Suplex and 𝗧𝗲𝗃𝗃 connecting on Kiinu, just neutrally, of course. So not too bad. I think
it definitely means that this 𝗂𝘀𝗵𝗃 can hurt Kiinu in a way that it couldn't before, but it also kind of means that 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗺s isn't as happy to be here anymore, as any of the advantage it used to have from its toxic attack is no more, and really it's just staring down a potential Crystal Bite.
Yeah, Crystal Bite into both of these Temtems do a lot. And you know, this was the same exact position Bennett found himself earlier with the Kiinu 𝗬𝗏ine opener. Not the opener, but it was on like turn 2, turn 3. And Ice Bennett decided to swap out his 𝗂𝘀𝗵𝗃, potentially thinking that the Crystal Bite alone from the 𝗬𝗏ine would be enough to take on the 𝗂𝘀𝗵𝗃. So might be thinking about that again. He swapped into the 𝗂𝗶𝗃, could do that one more time. So let's see, does 𝗂𝘀𝗵𝗃 wants to try to stay in, but Hypnosis, this Kiinu is fast, so we'll be sleeping the 𝗂𝘀𝗃. So maybe just a good old Crystal Bite on that mental Temtem, and that is big. With the 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗺s almost going down, that leaves that Mooflank and 𝗧𝗷, or rather the 𝗧𝗷 in the backline, feeling a lot better about his days.
Yeah, that was definitely a big play for Gold. You know, not taking any damage from 𝗂𝘀𝗵𝗃 and doing so much to a 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗺s. I mean, that definitely seemed to be the play here for Bennett. If 𝗂𝘀𝗃 was able to attack, this would be a dead Kiinu. Potentially even a very injured 𝗬𝗏ine if, you know, the other side was being targeted. I'm not entirely sure why a 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗺s stayed in and went for that Toxic Ink, though, when there are, you know, either 𝗬𝗏ine or 𝗂𝗏𝗃 would be better at taking that hit than 𝗧𝗏 would be. And 𝗧𝗏 has so much value for the rest of this game that might have been a bit of a misread from Bennett, leading to a big advantage for Gold.
Yeah, I believe he was just thinking all the pressure would come onto 𝗂𝘀𝗵𝗃. We saw that initial beta burst. It brought the 𝗂𝘀𝗃 to that 62%. So he was thinking, you know, 𝗂𝘀𝗃, I'm just trying to get some damage here. Let it go. Let's get this 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗺s to carry. But Gold reading it perfectly, making sure 𝗂𝘀𝗃 can't get off anything with the speedy Kiinu Hypnosis, and then just punishing the 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗺s. So yeah, I think you're right. I think Bennett was thinking all the pressure was going onto his 𝗂𝘀𝗃. But well done for Gold. That might have been the big play there to really solidify Gold. but it's still a bit close. A couple Temtems still left for each side, 4 to be exact. I mean, and both of these Temtems on Gold's side, I believe, have sacrifice potential. So a sacrifice on this Owler will be the nail in the coffin, I do want to say. It's still a rather healthy one, too.
Yeah, I mean, this could definitely be Owler swap in, take a sacrifice, and then other user of sacrifice comes in and sacrifices next turn. That would be pretty incredible. The energy manipulation onto 𝗬𝗵. Maybe expecting someone to swap, maybe just wanting to get that exhaustion, trap it in, force it to play games with his 𝗬𝗵𝐵. As 𝗬𝗏𝗺 does fall down to the double in from Golld. And now, with a very, very slight advantage, as this move flank's only on 1 HP, Golld does have the Tem advantage.
Yeah, exactly right. And with that big Owler +1 defense, potentially even more as 𝗬𝗎's still alive here. Yeah, maybe go with a slight lead. I mean, Golld is still in the back, has some 𝗬𝗏𝗺 potential for the 𝗬𝗵, but the 𝗬𝗵 has some Crystal Bite potential for the 𝗂𝗀𝗇 as well. And then the Owler kind of carries the day, I want to say, for Golld. Has 𝗬𝗏𝗺 for both the 𝗬𝗵𝐵 and the 𝗬𝗏𝗺 when the time comes. So maybe Golld just looking to sacrifice his move flank here. Let's see if he does bring it out. Oh, it's the Owler. He's ready to get 𝗬𝗏𝗺 back online. Oh, and we called it the sacrifice onto the Owler. That is so big.
Yeah, I mean, this just makes so much sense for Golld now. He's got +3/+3. He is going to take a little bit of damage this turn, but it's not the end of the world, as absolutely 𝗬𝗎 can come in. We saw how speedy it was before. Could definitely get a sacrifice off on Owler, potentially even a revitalize. You know, because +3/+3 should be enough for Golld to find his way out of this. But Moveflank comes in instead. If Moveflank is able to do enough damage in combination with his Owler to bring down both 𝗬𝗏𝐵 and 𝗬𝗏𝗺.
Yeah.
I mean, 𝗬𝗏𝐵 is down at 29%. If this Moveflank isn't targeted by 𝗬𝗏𝐵, there's the potential execution goes before 𝗬𝗏𝗺.
Yeah, we could see. I mean, well, 𝗬𝗏𝐵 could just simply plague the move flank as well. Or you think he wants to really punish this Owler, you're saying? Because I believe the 𝗬𝗏𝐵 on Bennett's side was outspeeding those Gorings. So Goring would be online, but I think just if the 𝗬𝗏𝐵 doesn't want to go down, because at least you let Owler pick. Do you want to 𝗬𝗏𝗺 the 𝗬𝗏𝐵 or the 𝗬𝗏𝗺? You can't kill both of them right away. So maybe just kill the move flank and then 𝗬𝗎, Owler, last Temtem standing. Oh, Goring does outspeed. Oh,
yeah,
that is
goes
tough.
first. 𝗬𝗏𝐵 falls down. 𝗬𝗏𝗺 intelligently killing this move flank before it gets too out of hand. But that means this Owler's got Oshidashi. This 𝗬𝗏𝗺 doesn't like Oshidashi. And it's down to 28.6%.
Yeah, you know, the 𝗬𝗎, as we've been seeing, it does go first. So, you know, if he doesn't want to go for a sacrifice, he could even go for a revitalize. This 𝗬𝗎 is faster than the 𝗂𝗀𝗇, faster than the 𝗬𝗏𝗺. So just a final revitalize for the win, most likely, on this Owler. Doesn't feel too bad. I mean, sacrifice may be equally as good, but it's already at +4/+4. Potential revitalize feels a bit better. And Owler has plenty, or, you know, 2 more attacks on stamina to work with. So I believe, I mean, unless 𝗂𝗀𝗇 can do a whole lot into this Owler. I mean, it's that +4 defense. I don't think anything is doing a lot of damage onto this Owler. So Revitalize feels good. I believe that might be the line of play Golld might be working with, as 𝗬𝗎 is the fastest Temtem on the board. Unless there's a 3 prior play that we're missing, but we checked 𝗂𝗀𝗇's technique. He didn't have any unless he was doing DC Beam, which I don't believe he's running, as it is a physical Temtem now, or here.
Yeah, absolutely. So this, I love the revitalized play. I think when you're +4/+4 Owler, that puts you in a fantastic situation. And really on Bennett's side, he's got to decide what to do with this 𝗬𝗏𝗺. No, Beta Burst decides to go for the Golld, not even protecting Owler, making it a little bit stronger. It does a lot of damage to 𝗂𝗀𝗇 instead, taking advantage of that half melee typing. And now Owler, I mean, it has to eat this Oshidashi. It does about half. That went from 37.7 down to 19.3. The Savage Suplex back onto this 𝗂𝗬𝗊 is definitely the better target, as you know, 𝗬𝗵 did just overexert itself, and even if 𝗶𝗚 OXs and knocks itself out due to this attack, it is going to be enough, and it is a concession for Golld to take game 1 in the finals.
Game number 3, or no, game number 2.
Yeah, they are already in. Looking at the bans, Bennett did not want to fight that 𝗶𝗚 anymore. No, got that first ban, which means we get the 𝗵𝗵. We're gonna get to see some of these double transformation shenanigans that could really just be a lot of fun. I know that even if it's not always going to be the strongest, sometimes, you know, you might transform into a 𝗧𝗵𝗃 staring down a 𝗂𝘀𝗶. You know, it happens, but it's a lot of fun to see some of these new techniques that aren't fully fleshed out in everybody's minds yet.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm trying to think what could be the potential best thing to 𝗵𝗵 here for the side of Golld. I mean, Fire 𝗂𝗀 kind of feels good. We saw 𝗬𝗺 did indeed run Toxic Ink. You know, we haven't seen too much of 𝗬𝗺 in this entire game. 𝗂𝗬𝗊 does have electric attacks, however, but starting off very neutrally, picking up the Kinu, relying on that counter pick, and counter pick most likely being the 𝗶𝗚 or potentially the 𝗂𝗬𝗊 if it's the Verd. But I'm thinking the 𝗶𝗚 is going to come through, so can there be a way? Wait a minute. 𝗵𝗵 either copies the Kinu or it copies the 𝗶𝗚 if it gets picked first. Unless he wants the 𝗂𝗀. Alright, the double fire 𝗂𝗀 coming out. So this Kinu has to go running away instantly. Double 𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗇𝗃 will be putting it down. And you know, double 𝗂𝗂𝗃𝗃 into anything except that raise on Bennett's size is going to be doing a significant amount. So that's a good opener for Golld for having the orange side. What can Bennett do? I mean, he kind of needs that toxic pressure. But I don't think Adorables was running Strange Vest. So physical still going to put a big hamper onto Adorables' HP pool.
Yeah, so I feel like Bennett is pretty forced into a 𝗂𝗬𝗊 pick. He goes for the Wolfie instead, but now if 𝗂𝗬𝗊 takes the ban, that means this hedging is looking so much nicer on the backside for Golld. I mean, it's got to be ban for ban at this point, right? I felt like the 𝗂𝗏 ban initially was setting Golld up for a hedging lead and really putting the pressure on with that digital tem. But now maybe Golld's just assuming he's not able to lead with it, so he's not able to bring it through, as it would make sense for a second ban. If Bennett wanted to go for the Kinu ban, that does make sense as well. It stops a lot of these tems from being set up in ways that would just be pretty detrimental, as realistically 𝗵𝗆 and 𝗬𝗏 as a combination, if they had Kinu to give a couple of buffs both ways, this Adoraboros wouldn't be able to stop them.
Yeah, and just alone in game 1 as well, that Speedy's Kinu did so much value for Golld. So hey, Bennett just gonna realize that catching the ban will be that Kinu. And hey, Golld respecting the raise, even though we didn't get to see the raise before. I believe Golld found a lot of success without having the raise on Bennett's squad. So gonna be trying the exact same thing, catching the giving that raise the ban. But this is gonna be game number 2 of our finals. 𝗵𝗵 coming out, becoming that fire 𝗂𝗀. Let's see the double lava wave or the double 𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗃. Lava wave gets synergy with itself, right? That's gonna be 56% synergy master lava wave, because lava wave is synergy with water. So these lava waves are about to be explosive, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that would be 3 prio as well. So that gives themselves what 𝗂𝗀𝗃 otherwise would have. You know, it's a little bit less damage at 100 instead of 110, but when you've got 2 of them and double synergy master, that 10 extra points doesn't seem like it's going to take you as far. I think that Golld is still going to hit incredibly hard wherever he wants to target.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, looking at the Kinu side, what can Bennett really bring in to stop this lava wave shenanigans from going off? I mean, he can even attack the Wolfie. It's at +1 defense. Well, let's take a look. He decides to Adoraboros. It is resistant, but as we said, the defense not really able to hold up. So lava wave. Oh, he is going to target the Wolfie here. Not too bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first one, Mimit, does go first, so we see those spreads in action just a little bit. The second Lava Wave from 𝗂𝗀𝗄 does even more damage than Mimit, so more attack on 𝗂𝗀𝗄. Although this Lifeful Sap means that now 𝗂𝗶𝗴 can just go. He's got himself a +1/+1 buff. This Lifeful Sap will bring him back up to 100% in due time. Well, 97%. And really, that just means a little bit of stamina cost on Gold's side and whatever damage Bennett takes this turn on the time that swaps in.
Yeah, not too bad. I almost want to say, of course, hindsight is indeed 2020. I almost want to say if that double lava wave would have connected on 𝗬𝗏𝗺, of course, the Lifeful Sap would have really done nothing because already at 100 HP. But, you know, just want to target the 𝗂𝗶𝗴 down. But, you know, 𝗂𝗶𝗴 against the 𝗂𝗀𝗄 almost as effective as some Toxic Inks from a 𝗬𝗏𝗺. So both would have had some good value to take him down to that red HP or red or orange HP. But okay, the Mimit one stays in, so maybe thinking some neutral 𝗬𝗀𝗺 synergy. Let's see what Gold has.
Yeah, 𝗂𝗪 swapping in doesn't love taking 𝗬𝗀𝗺 if it does target down this spot, as of course it does, down to 65%. And energy manipulation, just trying to outspeed this Mimit, but not quite fast enough to give that stamina exhaustion. The trap in, though, from the handcuffs could potentially be a really big play for Bennett if he's able to bring Mimit down without allowing it to cause too much more harm, stopping any more of these transformations, potentially stopping more sacrifices from Schwinn.
Yeah.
that could definitely lead to a good future for Bennett. We're now bringing Kiinu back in, as realistically 𝗂𝗪's probably more of the target here. And getting that nice little buff is indeed the way to go. 𝗬𝗀𝗺 does come through, though, with the Synergy Master from the move flank. It is on the 𝗂𝗪, not on the Kiinu. Doubling in, though, this 𝗂𝗪 is feeling a little worse for wear. The Savage Suplex with Comebacker is enough to bring Mimit down, so that is mission accomplished for Bennett. But at what cost, as 𝗂𝗪 is potentially far more valuable.
Yeah, not too bad. Even with the comebacker nerf down a little bit, 50 all the way to 30%, 𝗂𝗪 still packs such a punch. So Mimit number one, or Mimit being the fire 𝗂𝗀𝗄, does go down there. So no more Mimit in the remainder of this matchup, but did get a lot of damage. I mean, even with the Kiinu buff after that Kiinu coming in, 𝗂𝗪 find himself at 21%, so does indeed take a lot of damage. And Mimit was part of that damage there, so not too bad. However, actually no, this is Bennett's Kiinu, so I don't know how speedy it is, but the second 𝗬𝗀𝗺 user is online, and the neutral Temtem is to his side, so Kiinu could stay in, but no, Kiinu does retreat, expecting maybe a 𝗬𝗀𝗺, but I believe all the pressure might be going into 𝗂𝗪's direction. And wait a second, both players playing it safe so far, so expecting a beta burst swapping in the Schwinn. Let's see what actually goes down. The water synergy for the lava wave, and it is enough. 𝗂𝗪 gonna be going all the way down, so that's a big kill right there. No more 𝗂𝗪 for the rest of the match. So 1 for 1 there. Gold's Mimit, Bennett's 𝗂𝗪, and oh man, you take down the 𝗂𝗪, you buff up this 𝗂𝗬𝗄, so not too bad. 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗺 still back online, but it's on a 𝗂𝗬𝗄 now.
Yeah, I mean, this 𝗂𝗬𝗄 definitely a threat. I mean, now that it's +1/+1, it could use some electric techniques. I mean, really on either side, but a little bit more damage on 𝗂𝗀𝗄, or that Oshidaji on Schwinn. It's up to Gold to decide what's going where, as really he doesn't have the best options in the back to try and take this damage. Move flank taking an 𝗂𝗀𝗄 would be probably the best bet.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. So Bennett swapping in and out this Kiinu so well, using Kiinu as he's always intended to be, swapping in and out. The grease doing so much, but hey, lava wave taking out the item. I don't remember what 𝗂𝗬𝗄 had, maybe the taser, but let's see the crystal bite, man, doing so much damage. And no comebacker value there, but still enough to get the kill. Dang, 𝗂𝗬𝗄 is a beast.
Yeah, that was so much damage, and the seized item was the double screen, which meant that crystal bite just did so much more damage, so much more than potentially was expecting it to do, to the point where now 𝗂𝗬𝗄 might have too low of HP to get a good electric attack onto this Hedging.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, at least it's not a water attack. No water attacks here. So let's check it out. I mean, that was big. I honestly didn't expect 𝗬𝗏 to get one shot. That almost felt like a comebacker Yowler 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏. So maybe 𝗬𝗏 a little bit vulnerable in terms of that HP department. So not too bad. But now, Synergy Master Hellfire will be online the following turn. Not just yet, but melee or digital into that melee damage of 𝗂𝗀𝗆. One little plasma beam, I want to say, might just be enough to take out the 𝗂𝗀𝗆. So that's something Bennett has to consider. He has that 𝗂𝗏𝗶 in the back line that doesn't feel too bad. You have at least 2x effective damage with the Dust Vortex coming its way. But okay. 𝗂𝗀𝗆 does retreat for the time being. And oh, this is the neutral synergy play, I want to say. Or unless I'm overthinking it. Okay, just a plasma beam.
Plasma beam still enough to bring 𝗂𝗀𝗆 down thanks to that ×2 damage. And energy manipulation, definitely a nice start on this move flank, as it does just about 40%. Beta burst would have been a little bit more damage, but I definitely understand just trying, just in case that 𝗂𝗀𝗆 tried to attack, tried to do something, it would have overexerted, which would have left Bennett in a very nice situation. This 𝗂𝗏𝗶 now on Bennett is really probably the last saving grace, as these DVs and potential sandstorms is the only way that Bennett's going to find damage on the Hedging at this point.
Yeah, definitely. You know, to that point you said, I don't believe Bennett is running Beta Burst. We have yet to see Beta Burst fly out, but there it goes. The Genderfly does get the neutral synergy, adding the Bamboozle on it. So Goring attacking the 𝗂𝗏𝗶, bringing it a little bit downer, but energy manipulation just to keep chipping away at this move flank. And whoa, the nature synergy adding a bonus there does bring it down. So not too shabby. And there we go. The Genderfly Bamboozle doing so well at keeping itself healthy. And now, how is final 2 Temtems for Gold? You know, Bennett played the Kiinu so brilliantly, buffing that Yowler, buffing the 𝗂𝗀𝗆, buffing this 𝗂𝗏𝗆. I think Kiinu, even though he didn't stay around too much long on the board, he was low-key one of the MVPs for Bennett's side. And it might be too early to call, but Bennett feels kind of strong here. But we will see. I mean, he doesn't have clean answers to Adorbos, but except the digital, I guess, would be. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, Fire Tornado available for this Hedging is going to do so much on 𝗂𝗏𝗆 from 71 all the way down to 39. Combine that with, potential 𝗬𝗀𝗆s here. It's just going to be so scary. The energy manipulation, thanks to Synergy and Synergy Master, is more than a Beta Burst otherwise would have been. So 𝗂𝗀𝗆 is definitely not happy with that damage. And, resting knowing what was coming. And no, it is a concession, meaning Bennett now with a win.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because Gold won game 1. Okay. And yeah, I had blue set on both sides. So well done. All right. Well, either way, game number 3 is here. And hey, respecting how well Bennett played Kiinu, that will be the first ban immediately for Gold. And yeah, that's just a lot of respect. And I will say, we've been saying it over and over, so well done. Sometimes Kiinu overstays his welcome just a tad bit. Bennett didn't fall victim of any of that. He swapped out the Kiinu, even though it could have done a little pressure on the move flank, could have done a little bit of pressure on other Temtems. Just getting the buffs, and out it comes, gets his Temtem, get the hold moves online. Worked it so well, but Gold will start off with the Fire 𝗂𝗀𝗆. And are we going Mimit again? Or let's see.
At first I thought that Valorant ban was a misclick headed for the Yowler, but now looking at this lead of 𝗬𝗏𝗆 and Adoraboros, it looks like it was predetermined. This is what Bennett wanted to do. He wanted the Synergy Master water cannons, and he wanted to just toxic ink this 𝗂𝗀𝗆 to oblivion.
Yeah, well, of course. And of course, 𝗬𝗏𝗆 does have the toxic synergy. I believe it's adding additional damage as well, right? Because, or does water cannon not add additional damage? Does Synergy Master need you to add additional damage to gain that 25%? I'm trying to remember how it reads.
No, it's just the fact that Synergy Master is on Adoraboros. The water cannon is going to have that boost. Yeah, anything with the synergy in play gets that nice little boost from 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗴 or any of the 𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃, but in this instance, this is definitely the best way for 𝗂𝗏𝗃 to do damage early on. And really, it can do damage to either side here is the way that this is going down. Golld using kind of a tried and true method of the 𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 lead. But I think that this lead from Bennett counters it. I think that this is a little bit too much damage for Golld.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. A Toxic Ink water cannon with Synergy Master and those toxic ticks. I believe one 𝗂𝗀 will be going down as early as turn 1 if Golld wants to go for a double Lava Wave onto the 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗴, unless it kills. If Lava Wave Synergy Master 56% bonus on those Lava Waves kills the 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗴, then I guess 𝗂𝗏 doesn't get the synergy, doesn't get the toxic tick, so maybe that's the only way. Can it take it down? I mean, we've been saying it. I don't recall a Strange Vest on that 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗴, so maybe, just maybe, even though half effective, we're talking about double Synergy Master Lava Wave. It just might be enough, but here we got it, guys. Double Fire 𝗂𝗀. And it's always impressive just to see every single time.
Yeah, I mean, Golld definitely, if there was any way to counter a very strong Synergy Master lead, I think it would be with a very strong double Synergy Master lead. If he is able to get the kill on 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗴, that would be very impressive. And Bennett, maybe not wanting to risk it, does swap out instead for his Yowler, but without any buffs. This is going to be a pretty injured Yowler, likely doing more than 50%. Yeah, definitely doing more than 50%. With absolutely no comeback or dreams, no damage being done back onto these Tems right now. It's just up to 𝗂𝗏's single water cannon.
Yeah, you know, just one more Lava Wave woman, and man, Mimit taking a brunt of force there, going down almost 60+%, so not too bad. Aquatic Whirlwind would easily take it down, and 𝗂𝗏 having that 3 prio play will be the one going first, so Golld has to be aware of that. But if one of these 𝗂𝗀s will be able to get the kill onto Yowler, but maybe that's the perfect play to bring back 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗴, eat the Quetzalcoatl, and then just kill. Or I mean, both sides have some good swaps. Of course, you could swap in Kiinu, eat the Aquatic Whirlwind very, very nicely. So a couple decisions here. I don't think Yowler stays in, but how much is Yowler going to be doing at 18.4% is the question.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. This Yowler doesn't have any show-offs. I mean, it came in, it does have Savage Suplex or Ushidashi online, so if it were to leave and come back, it would have attacks available, but with its abysmal speed, really, it's so strong, it's so bulky, but it's so slow. There's really no hope of it attacking anybody successfully for the rest of this game. You know, the only chance would be if Golld does a swap like this and attacks the opposing spot, but that's not going to happen this turn. This Yowler is definitely the target, and Kiinu, just as you had predicted, is definitely the one who wants to eat this Tsunami instead of Aquatic Whirlwind, so it is going to do a little bit of damage onto 𝗂𝗀 as well, but certainly not enough to make a difference, as Quetzalcoatl will be bringing Yowler down.
Yeah, not too bad. So covering all bases, just in case that Mimit wouldn't stay in, Tsunami would have brought it down. And in case the Kiinu comes in, you do a little bit of chip damage onto the real Fire 𝗂𝗀. But as we said, the Yowler wasn't doing too much at that low HP pool, so might as well eat a Quetzalcoatl and then bring in a Temtem for free. Potentially Wolfie now, or 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗴, of course, getting that toxic synergy back online for 𝗂𝗏. That's not too bad. So now Golld in a tougher position here. What Temtem in the back line really wants to eat a water cannon plus the energy manipulation, right? 2 neutral Tems in the back line. 𝗂𝗀, if he stays in, taking some big damage plus toxic ticks. So I think that kind of checks all the boxes. E-manip, water cannon. What is Golld gonna do? Well done. You know, I thought a lot of pressure was from Golld's side, but bringing in that Yowler, it was kind of, it's because kind of you don't think about just sacrificing a Yowler, if you will, right? That's kind of what he did. He didn't really do anything with Yowler. It just ate up a whole lot of damage, and sometimes that's kind of enough to give you back that momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the sacrificial Yowler, it's definitely not a common play, but it does put Bennett into this situation where 𝗃𝗏𝗃 came back in for free. He gives himself back this really strong turn one presence that he had with this Energy Master, and really the only Tems on Gold's side that are able to fight this 𝗃𝗏𝗃 would be 𝗂𝘀 and 𝗵𝗵𝗃, and 𝗵𝗵𝗃 has to be in 𝗂𝘀's form. So this 𝗂𝘀 has to retreat, it has to try and survive, but 𝗵𝗵𝗃 comes in instead. It's going to be turning into an 𝗃𝗏𝗃.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe it still goes down. I think 𝗵𝗵𝗃. Oh, but the Revitalize is gonna be outspeeding, so it's gonna stay alive. So, oh no, Toxicking going into the Kinu instead. And man, it is so ridiculous. First it was the Fire Core, now it's that beautiful 𝗃𝗏𝗃. So not too bad. I don't know how effective it's going to be doing, of course. I mean, it has the Toxic Ink for the 𝗬𝗂𝗏, but 𝗬𝗂𝗏's now running low on HP, so could be looking to swap perhaps. But you know, to be fair, Bennett really doesn't have an answer to this 𝗃𝗏𝗃. I guess the Ghostly, right? I always forget the Ghostly has some electric techniques. We just haven't seen too many of that. The only attacks we've seen from Ghostly is just the Iron Charge attacks there. And that's the digital one, right? Or let me see.
Yeah, I don't think that we've seen the fourth technique yet. We've definitely seen the show off, the iron filings, and the Oshi. I don't know if we have seen the fourth. I mean, Psychosis is definitely an option there. Another Doomer coming into play. There are so many options on this tab. I mean, even just a cage is really going to bring a lot of value.
And you know, 𝗵𝗵𝗃 kind of reveals a lot of information to your opponent too, because wouldn't you take the general move set that the opponent has? So now you know what moves they're working with, right? So it's kind of like an information revealer as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That was something we've been talking about a little while ago. You know, using the trait which forces you to attack a Tem in order to become that Tem. And in certain formats, you know, in the upcoming Nid Cup or in you know, a Club War style format, you gain so much knowledge just by knowing their attacks. You know, imagine this 𝗵𝗵𝗃 attacks 𝗃𝗏𝗃, learns right away. Are you more stally? Do you have Lifeful Sap? Are you more aggressive? Can you challenge, you know, potentially a mix with a Sandstorm? So I think as much as we've seen 𝗵𝗵𝗃 being this presence of synergy and strong aggression and speed so far in this tournament, it also has that support element of just really bringing everything around and giving you a lot of information that you otherwise wouldn't have.
Yeah, and information, very well said. Information definitely is very, very powerful in a group setting, and yeah, even in an individual setting like a tournament like this. So let's see how Gold uses that extra information. And the Inner Spirit was on the technique pool, so 𝗃𝗏𝗃 not liking the sound of that, but not doing as much as maybe an 𝗃𝗏𝗃 with a lot of special attack would have done. But a nature synergy with the Synergy Master does bring it on Dev's door. Oh, but it takes away the Toxic Tick. Oh man, a little bit of fighting himself there.
Yeah, okay. that was fairly unfortunate, as the handcuffs just protect Mouflang long enough to take another attack, which otherwise would have gone into this 𝗵𝗵𝗃 at such low HP, could have potentially brought it down.
Yeah, not too bad. Of course, the 𝗃𝗏𝗃 still had an attack to go, so not all that bad. I was thinking that was the last attack left, but of course, 𝗃𝗏𝗃 closing it down, so not too bad. So maybe able to get off one more attack before 𝗃𝗏𝗃 going down. Of course, Inner Spirit not online just yet. It is a 2-hold move, so he could bring out something like this. What does he have? I know the 𝗂𝘀 doesn't want a Toxic Ink Plague. Inu doesn't really do too much. I mean, 𝗃𝗏𝗃 just goes down to a simple, okay, the 𝗂𝘀 it is, and wait a second. For some reason, it appeared blue for a slight second, but yeah, it's a normal fire 𝗂𝘀 there.
Yeah, I mean, this fire 𝗂𝘀 is good. It's, you know, Gold's best option, as we had talked about, for the 𝗃𝗏𝗃. But I don't know, with 𝗵𝗵𝗃 currently being an 𝗃𝗏 instead of a 𝗂𝘀, there's no Synergy Master going on here. You can't double in that way. You can't pressure out a 𝗃𝗏𝗃 that way. And really, I think Goldsy is a relatively safe swap-in at this point, right? There's not too much effective damage. You know, 𝗂𝘀 always hits pretty hard with something like a Quetzaleno, but that wouldn't be enough to put it on its knees right away.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the beta burst from the simple Qiinu really do about like 35%. So maybe a beta burst from a 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏, but of course it's the mimic 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏. But man, the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 with the prio neutral, or the neutral prio, does take out the Wolfie and doesn't leave the nature synergy for a 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏. So well done having that speedy 𝗂𝗀𝗏 and trapping it in to potentially eat a toxic ink down the road before it escapes from it. And now 𝗂𝗀𝗃 coming through, so just trying to get this Yowler a little bit down to size. It doesn't have chamomile as we're used to seeing very often, so able to get some good damage. But maybe if you attack the Yowler, yeah, I think maybe 𝗂𝗀𝗃's attacking 𝗂𝗀𝗃 here. Doesn't want to allow that comebacker trait to really get off, so maybe just really wants to put a nail onto 𝗂𝗀𝗃's time here. But maybe that then after that Qiinu could come in. Is that worse for him? Does he need to start chipping away at this Yowler?
I wonder if swapping... No, I guess not. 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 does want to stay in for the synergy, as 𝗬𝗬𝗃 coming in for free damage wouldn't be the best situation for Bennett. You know, being down 1 at the moment, despite having arguably the type advantage, it would put him in a pretty rough spot. The 𝗧𝗏𝗺𝗺 does so much damage under this 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏. It's down to 21%. And the water cannon, he is deciding to target down this Yowler instead. Bennett, I guess, just saying, you know, either this 𝗂𝗀𝗃 is going to overexert itself or it's going to rest. So either way, right now, I'm going to do what I can onto this Yowler.
Yeah.
Yowler just goes for the show off. So maybe Golld not expecting that level of aggression on Yowler.
Yeah.
You know, not taking advantage of any comebacker on 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏.
Yeah, and that was absolutely beautiful play for Bennett there, recognizing, as you said, 𝗂𝗀𝗃 had to overexert to do anything. Yes, the 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 takes some big damage, but it wasn't going to fall down. And punishing the Yowler for going for the show off, not going for a comebacker trait, Savage Suplex. Because as we said, if you take down the 𝗂𝗀𝗃, that just gives the free Qiinu proc, and that's what Yowler loves. So not letting Golld do that, I think this might have, I don't want to call it too soon, might have really changed the tides of battle here late game. Because, you know, Yowler, slowest Temtem on the board. 𝗂𝗀𝗃 is overexerted, and then energies manip. Oh, no, 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏's out of stamina. He might have overexerted, but I think an aquatic whirlwind and then maybe an overexertion on 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 could be enough to take down Yowler. But wait a second.
Yeah, at the moment, 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 has overexerted, so it would just be this water cannon with the toxic ticks trying to do the damage. And unfortunately, an aquatic whirlwind we've now learned would have been enough. And this comebacker Savage Suplex is enough, as 𝗂𝗀𝗃's definitely going down. We saw the speed of this 𝗂𝗀𝗃 before too, so that probably means either 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 is falling down to a 𝗧𝗏𝗃 or Goldzzy is going to be falling down. But also, maybe not. It just lost its synergy.
Yeah, that was actually so huge. 𝗂𝗀𝗃 from 100 to 0. He needed a bit of that 𝗂𝗀𝗃 to really put a hamper on the 𝗂𝗀𝗃's time here. But, you know, just getting, I don't want to call it greedy. I believe it was a good play for the water cannon. But if, as you said, aquatic whirlwind would have came out, the Yowler would have dropped. But I understand the logic there. Bennett wanted to hope the water cannon killed, and then aquatic whirlwind, the 𝗂𝗀𝗃 this turn. Oh man, just the calcs a little bit off. Yowler surviving, and 100 down to 0. Comebacker 30%, just a little bit too strong. I believe that might be giving Golld the edge here. Of course, Goldzzy is at 100%. He hasn't touched the board at all. Can this Goldzzy pretty much 1v3 the remaining of Gold's squad?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a complicated situation for Golld right now. You can see how long he's taking to decide between Qiinu or Mimit. I mean, really, Qiinu buffing isn't going to make the difference here. Qiinu is just going to have to come in and hope that it can outspeed, do some damage. And if Mimit comes back in right now, it's not going to give Golld what he really wants, which is that fire 𝗂𝗀𝗃 for the synergy and for the priority. It's going clockwise. It's going in this left spot. It's going to be an 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏.
So he does decide to pull the trigger on the Qiinu, so gets a little buff on this fire 𝗂𝗃, so does become a bit tankier. But 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 now has the the higher speed with the 3 prio because no neutral priority on this course exists. You know, the 𝗂, the move flank is taken care of, so I believe I mean, it's that +2 special defense. +2
is definitely it's what Golld needs to try and make this work. It's really just has to be this damage onto 𝗂𝗍𝗺. If 𝗂𝘀 is able to go first, Hypnosis, that is massive. That Kiinu is able to go first, use this Hypnosis. The energy manipulation will be bringing Kiinu down, but that just means 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗀𝗧 can come back in and use energy manipulation onto 𝗂𝗍𝗺.
Yeah, and the Hypno there does last one more turn, so 𝗂𝘀 gets to overexert, but has to rest as the 𝗂𝗍𝗺 has to rest. And 𝗵𝗵 just became the 𝗂𝗍𝗺, ladies and gentlemen. This is crazy. We get a nice little aquamarine teal color. And man, that color pattern looks really nice for the 𝗂𝗍𝗺. That should have been the Luma there. But let's see. Show off does indeed come out. And depending on these speed TVs, what if 𝗵𝗵 has a bit stronger speed? Savage Suplex onto this 𝗂𝗍𝗺 doesn't seem too bad. Who indeed has the speed arrow? Bennett has the speed arrow. I don't think it matters too much because those TVs matter way more. Oh, this is close. Wait a second. Charge Iron Fist might be doing some big damage on both of these Temtems. Maybe enough for the 𝗂𝘀 to go down, as it is double damage on the 𝗂𝘀. Is this 𝗂𝗍𝗺 gonna win it for Bennett, or can the 2v1 take it down?
Oh, so 𝗵𝗵 is faster than the real 𝗂𝗍𝗺, but it doesn't do too much damage. And definitely if 𝗂𝗍𝗺 is faster than 𝗂𝘀, that could be pretty complicated. 𝗂𝘀 goes for 𝗀𝗻𝗄. It's going to get the damage off. It brings it down to 31%. That's not enough to kill. That's not enough to kill next turn, as 𝗵𝗵, oh, 𝗵𝗵 survives.
He lives. Wait a second, it had to be Savage Suplex. If that was Savage Suplex instead of a Oshi-Dashi. Oh man, I'm trying to think about it. Why would you Oshi into a melee Temtem? Where, and I know Bennett, very calculated tamer. Where was he thinking? Okay, Oshi-Dashi does bring it down. And ladies and gents, we have ourselves the weekly tournament champion. And his name is Golld. GG.